Good evening, or morning, or whenever you're listening to this, and welcome to Beware of Spoilers. I am Adam. So, I think one of the things the show is really missing is a concrete rating system, a system that we can look at and be like, this is what this movie is. And I think that part of the problem is I don't like using numerical scales for the specific reason that when you use a numeric scale, it comes off like a subjective indicator of quality that is numeric, and a lot of times it doesn't exactly match up perfectly. So, after spending some time in a like one of those like a sensory deprivation tank for a few days, I've come up with a solution that is a good way to handle this. And it's kind of what we've been doing almost since the beginning, where it's this idea of if we're going to rank a movie, the best way to rank it is what's the best financial and time value to watch this movie. Now, this system only applies to theatrically released movies because I haven't figured out a way to apply this system to the streaming releases and video games, because video games it's more down to price. There's a lot more variables that go into a video game, but for theatrical releases, this is kind of a pretty set system that I think I've come up with. And if you listen to this and you want to read a more in-depth version of it, I did put up a post about it on the blog. If you go to multipleworldproductions.com, click on the news link on the top bar. It's the pinned story, or the sticky story, because it's WordPress. So basically, it's a five-star system, where a perfect quote-unquote movie will be 5 stars, down to a awful movie being 1 star. Um, and what it's defined by is how quickly should you rush out to see the movie, and what format should you see the movie in. So first and foremost, we have the 5 star. That's the perfect movie under the system. A 5 star rating means the movie is worth seeing opening night in the theater, in the biggest screen possible, and it is a must-see theatrical event. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's perfect. It doesn't necessarily mean that it is a visual spectacle akin to Avatar or Top Gun Maverick or anything like that. It just means that it's a movie that you should rush out to see as quickly as possible, and paying the $18 to $20 ticket price for a nighttime show is worth that. It's not necessarily something that you need to see on what's it called in a big screen or anything like that. It's just this is a movie that's so good it's worth paying that high price point. So movies like Avatar: The Way of Water or Everything Everywhere All at Once are going to fall into this category because they're visual spectacles, while other movies that are more driven by their plot and are less visual spectacles. I can't think of any off the top of my head that are like great dramas. I mean, I guess The Northman, but that's a very visual heavy movie too. But like, movies like that are it is worth paying the full price. I guess Nope. Nope. Well, no, Nope's a very visual heavy movie too. I can't think of any off the top of my head that have really fallen into this category, off recently of movies that are worth watching, but are not in the visual spectacle category. Now, the next one down will be a 4 star rating. A 4 star rating indicates that the movie is worth seeing in a theater, but you don't have to see it at full price. It's not a movie you need to go out opening night to see. It's not a movie you need to go and pay for a premium format. It's still a movie that warrants a theatrical experience for any number of reasons, but it is something that is worth. You may not have to rush out to watch immediately. So, like an example of this would be A Man Called Otto, which is a great movie and it's very interesting, but you don't have to watch it opening night. You don't have to watch it on an IMAX screen or on a Dolby screen. You can get basically the same experience if you watch it on a Tuesday afternoon or on a Saturday morning as if you watched it at 7 o'clock opening night. It's that kind of situation. Then there's the 3 star. Now, the 3 stars is where we start to get out of the theatrical realm and into wait for it to come home. Now, a 3 star rating indicates that you do not need to watch it in a theater to get the full experience. You can watch it at home, but it might be worth picking up on DVD or paying extra for a streaming service you don't have. So, like for example, Megan is a movie like that where it's worth a watch, and you should. It's the kind of thing where like if you don't have Peacock, maybe pick up Peacock just to watch it. Maybe pick it up on DVD. It's that kind of thing where it's like this is a more worthwhile time to watch the movie. The 2 star rating means that if you already have the streaming service that it ended up on, it might be worth a watch there, or wait for it to end up on FX or on FXX or on AMC or on another channel like that. because it's not worth going out of your way to watch the movie or paying extra to watch the movie. Um, Using something you already own is worth it. So like The Black Phone is an example of a movie like this where it's like it might be worth a watch if you have Peacock already, but if you don't have Peacock, don't go out of your way to get it. And finally, the one-star movie is the movie that is not worth watching at all. It's a movie that is so terrible, it's not worth your time to even sit down and watch it. So movies like The Contractor last year, or very recently Marlowe. These are all movies that are not good in the slightest and are not worth the time to sit down and watch, even if it's on for free somewhere. There are better things on TV or on streaming services that you should sit down to watch. So that's going to be the system for uh, new release movies that we're going to do from now on. Every movie's going to have a rating 1 to 5, and with this as the guideline. Starting with tonight's movie, Emily, and then moving on from there. Um, and yeah, so we'll wrap up there for today because I'm going to go see Emily in about 15 minutes. But until our next episode, which will be Emily in about 3 hours, have a great rest of your week.